Hi everybody, today we're going to take a look at word problems. What I want you to think about is when we use math outside of the classroom, we are often trying to solve an equation. Sometimes that can even include trying to make sense of articles posted online. Consider, for example, this article from CNN posted February 26, 2024 titled How EVs Became Such a Massive Disappointment. As you read through the article, it states that the American market for EVs is not collapsing. In the last quarter of 2023, EV sales were up 40% from the same quarter a year before, according to Cox Automotive. So, in addition to the fact that the title of the article is in complete contrast to the data in the article, we also don't have any real solid data on the number of sales. We do know sales were up 40%, but we don't know what the same quarter was the year before. So, let's call this amount we want to know X, and then kind of go on a data search. Clean Technica reports that there were 235,133 EV sales in quarter 4 of 2022. Then going back to the article from CNN, we can calculate 40% of 235,133 to be about 94,053. This was the increase in sales. We need to add 94,053 to 235,133 to get that there were 329,186 EV sales in quarter 4 of 2023. Let's do a smaller example. Let's say we budget $260 a month for gas, and gas is currently going for $3.25 per gallon. So how many gallons a month can we buy? What you should always do is start with a variable that recognizes what we're trying to solve for. So in this case, we want X to be the number of gallons of gas. Our equation is $3.25 times X, and that'll give us $260. To solve for X, I just need to divide by 3.25, which says that we can buy 80 gallons of gas a month. Let's try another one with real data. The net migration to Florida in 2022 was 259,500 higher than the previous year. If the combined net migration for 2021 and 2022 was 629,500 people, find the net migration for each year. So our first thing we should always do is identify a variable. So I'm going to let X be the net migration in 2021. What you notice is I usually pick the smaller amount. That way I can add to it or subtract from it as I'm comparing it to the other value I was given. So I know in 2021 I had X, and then in 2022 I had 259,500 more, which means I have X plus 259,500. Together, that's supposed to give me 629,500, so we're going to add these two values together. I have X, then I have X plus 259,500, which gives me a grand total of 629,500. Like we've done when we solve other equations, we want to gather like terms. X plus X gives us 2X. Then we want to move the constants together, so I will subtract 259,500 from both the left and right side, which says 2x is 370,000. To get the value of x, I divide by 2, which says x is 185,000. It's important to go back and say, well, what does that represent? Which is why we always write down what our variables stand for. We know x is the net migration in 2021. I need to add 259,500 to get the net migration in 2022, which is 444,500. So let's try one last problem. According to Pollster, the 2023 box office gross sales for Taylor Swift were $121 million less than twice Beyoncé's gross sales. If together the sales totaled $1,619 million, find the gross sales for each artist. The first thing we want to do is start defining the variable, and remember, we only need one. When you look at how the numbers were described, you see that Taylor Swift's sales were written in comparison to Beyoncé's. So we're going to let Beyoncé's sales be our variable. So I'm going to write B to stand for Beyoncé is the gross sales for Beyoncé's 2023 tour. Then we can see the sales for Taylor Swift are 121 million less than twice Beyoncé's gross sales. So we do 2 times B and subtract 121. When we put all of that together, we get 1,619 million, which is $1.6 billion. So we're going to drop the parentheses and then combine like terms. So B plus 2B gives us 3B. The negative 121 needs to go over to the right. So now we have 3b is 1,619 plus 121, which is 1,740. When you divide by 3, you're going to get 580. So 580 million is the gross sales for the Beyonce tour in 2023. To get the gross sales for Taylor Swift, we're going to plug the 580 back into the 2b minus 121. So 2 times 580 minus 121 gives us $1,039 million. And again, that's $1.039 billion in sales.